is early morning hours of December 16th, 2020, about a week and a bit before Christmas, and Bitcoin has made a new all-time high, just popped above that $20,000 US level. December 19th, 2020, $23,000 Bitcoin. Who could have known? There are a lot of Bitcoin channels out there, many with followings in the millions, and that's only going to increase now that Bitcoin has broken the $20,000 level and is surging to new all-time highs. A lot of people will say, and are already saying, I knew this would happen with Bitcoin. So what's my claim to fame? I'm one of the first to ever produce video content on Bitcoin analysis and soon became one of the best at price forecasting, with dozens of flawless consecutive calls, including a perfect multi-year prediction that culminated in the meteoric rise from $4,000 to $24,000, and probably beyond this year. In summary, Bitcoin's seer. Most analysts, I think by now, finally, it has taken a long time, and I have been talking about it and trying to teach others about it since I first spotted it, but they have now finally realized Bitcoin follows a pattern, and that this pattern can be best seen on a long-term logarithmic scale. And when you do this, you can see that Bitcoin follows this pattern of like making a new high and then usually plunging fairly rapidly, and then for a little while making some new lower lows from that point, but usually not retracing all the way back down to where it came from, and then flattening out, making kind of a U formation, a U or a bowl shape or a cup, some people will call it, and then back up the other side just when people think, that's it, crypto's over, it's going to zero. That's when it recovers and it makes a new high once it passes that old high. So that is where we are now in 2020 and the end of 2020 and going into 2021. We have just broken through that essentially at Christmas time. And I've said many times for a few years now that at Christmas time, you can see the link down below to this, at Christmas time Bitcoin will often make a high, a low, or it will break out to a new high from a level that it has previously been at a high from. That's the case this year at Christmas. It is breaking out to a new high. So let's recap the last 5 or 6 years just briefly, starting at the left side of that chart there. That's when Bitcoin was down to $150 or $160, those two red candles, those 2 points down there. Incredible pullback there. And you almost never heard about Bitcoin, even from the alternative media or anyone. And then in Christmas, I guess, of 2015, it started to break out and made a new high and then proceeded up through 2016 to make new highs. And you can see it never came back to that long-term moving average, that yellow line there. It never actually touched it again for a very long time. That whole bull market, it just never came back down there. And that's, I think, where we are. If you can look on the right-hand side of the chart now, in 2020 and going to 2021, we are far away from that orange or yellow line again, and so we are in that extended bull market mode. I don't think it's over, but we'll talk about that more in a minute. So back to 2016, 2017 became steeper, obviously. 2017 is when you started to hear more about Bitcoin in the media. In fact, the common person heard about Bitcoin, and that's when a lot of Bitcoin channels that are around today with millions, literally millions of viewers started, was 2017, because that's when those people first heard of it. But then it, of course, at Christmas of 2017 made that all-time famous top of $20,000, and we've been consolidating through time since then. And of course, Bitcoin has died in the minds of the mainstream media and many other people as well, many times since then, including, well, originally when it fell from 20,000 to 6,000 people. That's it, it's gone, it's done. And, it stabilized there. Then it had a further pullback to $4,000, which was said by everyone to be the end. A lot of people were forecasting $1,000 or less at that point, just very bearish and saying it's coming back down to essentially towards zero. And then it's never been at that low price again. It's recovered since then. There was a large bump in the middle of 2019, but it couldn't hold that. And then there was the financial collapse, which brought Bitcoin down in, of course, early 2020, down to almost, I think, just touched $4,000 briefly again, just barely at that level, and then has taken off since then and recovered that $10,000 level. And once it passed that $10,000 level, there was nothing to stop it, and it has moved quickly from $10,000 up to $20,000 and now well over $23,000. It's not going to be perfect, but if things continue more or less the way they have, it's going to go something like this. I mentioned $1 million way back in 2013, and people literally laughed. And I've never said it was a sure thing, just that it was possible. And that possibility is looking more and more likely as the years go by. We could be pushing up to 80,000, even 120 or 150 within 6 to 9 months. Well, it is Christmas 2020. Bitcoin is $12 away from 25,000 US dollars. So $11 away. So I thought I would just take a quick clip and point out this momentous occasion. Congratulations to everybody that is holding Bitcoin. And a few hours later, there's 25,000. And looking at a weekly chart, there it is, going back to the $20,000 top at the end of 2017. The correction, the breakout to new highs. 2021 should be interesting. Going to be a lot of volatility, pullbacks along the way, but in the next 6 to 9 months we should see somewhere close to 6 digits.